Have you ever felt like life just keeps throwing obstacles your way? Like, no matter what you do, things just never go to plan? Maybe you've had setbacks, disappointments, or tough breaks, and at some point you started believing that the world is out to get you? I totally get it. I've been there like a gazillion times, and I'm sure you have as well. But then I realized something, that the more you see yourself as the victim, the more you reinforce that reality. The more you believe things are happening to you, the more powerless you start feeling. But what if I told you that life isn't happening to you, it's happening for you? And today, we're going to break that cycle. We're diving into how to stop playing the victim, take ownership of your life, and shift your mindset from helplessness to empowerment. And I came across this reel where Timothy Chalamet once said, "You need to understand that life comes from you and not at you." And understanding that takes time. That really hit home for me. And by the end of this episode, you'll have the tools to reframe challenges, step into personal power, and move forward with confidence. So welcome back to Decoding Wisdom, guys. I'm your host, Sachin Jha, where we blend ancient philosophies with modern insights to help both me and you live high-performing and meaningful lives. And today's episode is pretty dear to me because I've struggled with this for a long time. And it's also a wake-up call. So if you've ever felt like you're stuck, like the odds are stacked against you, or like things are just unfair, I really want you to hear me out today. We're going to unpack 3 things. Why the victim mindset is so easy to fall into, and why it's so dangerous. How to shift your perspective to see challenges as opportunities. And then how to take radical responsibility for your life and stop waiting around for things to change. So this might get a little bit uncomfortable for you, but if you want real growth, sometimes you have to face the hard truths. So let's get right into it. And firstly, I want us to be real. No one wakes up one day and just decides, hey, I'm going to see myself as the victim. It happens subtly, usually over time. Maybe you were let down by people you trusted the most. Maybe life threw something at you that was genuinely unfair. Or maybe you grew up in an environment where struggle was the norm, and then that became your identity. And before you know it, you start believing that life is just unfair to you in particular. But here's the problem with that though. The more you buy into that story, the more evidence you'll find to support it. Do you know what I mean? So if you believe that bad things always happen to you, well, guess what? Every small setback will feel like proof. And the brain loves to reinforce what it already believes. And I came across a quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson, a great philosopher, who says that once you make a decision, the universe conspires to make it happen. What does this mean though? If you decide that you're powerless, your mind will conspire to confirm it. But if you decide that you have control, the same principle applies. With that said, there is a tough pill to swallow. And it's the fact that life is just not fair. That's the reality of it. Some people are born with more, some people have it easier. But fairness was never promised to us. Make sense? And waiting for the world to balance the scales just for you is honestly a losing game. With that said, there is good news. Because life isn't fair, it can mean that things can change in ways you just never expect them to. Just like bad things happen randomly, so do good things. And the people who win, who are these people who win in life? Think about it. They're the ones who show up every day, ready to grab those opportunities when they arise. And this actually reminds me of a quote from Bruce Lee. We all know Bruce Lee, right? And he said once that, "Do not pray for an easy life. Pray for the strength to endure a difficult one." So the goal isn't to avoid challenges, so to say. The goal is to build yourself into someone who can handle them. So the biggest shift you can make is going from why is this happening to me to what can I do about it? Because the first question keeps you stuck and the second question keeps you moving forwards. You decide where you want to be. So here's how you can start shifting your mindset. 3 things. First, change your inner dialogue. Stop saying, "This always happens to me." Instead, start saying, "What is this teaching me?" It's all about perspective. Remember that. Second, take radical responsibility. Even if something wasn't your fault, it's still your responsibility at the end of the day to deal with it. That's not being unfair. That's just empowering. Again, perspective. And the third one, reframe setbacks as training. Instead of seeing struggle as punishment, view them as training. Every setback is making you stronger, wiser, and more resilient. To tie it all together, I came across a quote from Ernest Hemingway, the famous American author, who said, "The world breaks everyone, and afterwards, some are strong at the broken places." So life will test you, but those who rise from it come back even stronger. So here's what I want you to try now. Think of one area in your life where you've been stuck in this victim mindset. Maybe it's your career, maybe relationships, or your personal growth. I want you to ask yourself, am I waiting for something to change, or am I taking ownership here? Who's in the driver's seat? Think about it. And then write down one action, no, I don't care how small it is, that you can take today to move forwards. And I'd love to hear what you come up with. So DM me, let me know, and I'd love to get a conversation going. So let's bring it home now. What's the bottom line? The bottom line is that the world isn't out to get you, my friend. Life isn't happening to you, it's happening for you. And the sooner you start seeing challenges and opportunities, the sooner you can take back control. So bottom line, again, is victimhood is a choice, but so is power. So the key question is, which one are you going to choose? So if this episode hit home for you, share it with someone who needs a mindset shift. And if you want to keep decoding wisdom with me, you know exactly what to do. Hit follow, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts from, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Cheers.